All right, we're here. Hey, everybody, we're back again.
Hello.
Hey, everybody, we're back again.
Hello.
Yeah, so we've got no one here yet, but that's okay. Maybe they're watching secretly. We can do a brief recap for the nobody in the audience.
Absolutely. Oh, there's two people. No, one person who just turned up. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. Welcome to our stream. So nice to have you here. Um, yeah,
Also,
let's see.
I had to compliment the way that you put my window right next to your window because for a split second I thought we were in the same room,
Aw.
and I know that it's impossible, but my brain was like, "Oh, we're together. That's
That's so
nice."
nice. The magic of video conferencing and streaming and all
Exactly.
of that jazz.
Exactly.
Yep. Right, quick recap, I suppose. In the last stream, we played through Alex and shared some nice thoughts and inspirations and developer commentary. We're back again for round two. So we're going to go through the second character in the demo this time, model number SM032, as he's so as he's officially known. Yeah, here we are.
Here we are.
I guess we're ready to go into it, unless you have some comments before we get started.
Not really. Just the previous character was much more like it was really the tutorial level.
Mhm.
So she exists to allow you to learn about the game.
Right.
And this one is a little more freeform. It's a little messier and a little more difficult to get to grips with, just because this is where we were trying to design a character that sort of let us explore what this system could do.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more all over the place. We were kind of finding our feet, and I think it's much more kind of interesting than Alex was, at least from a structural perspective.
Right. This is where we're really diving into the sort of player choice of how you go through the interrogation and the choices you make actually having a noticeable effect in a more tangible way than with Alex. Yep.
Let's get to it then.
Let's get to it. Here we are, back in Silicon Dreams, our lovely game baby.
We endeavor to deliver this baby to the best of our ability.
That's right. We're gonna do it.
We're art midwives. Isn't that just the weirdest, most extra way of describing being a developer?
Yep. I'm all about the extra. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about we dive into it? Probably same form as last time. I can read the interrogator's lines if you would like to read SM032's lines.
Absolutely. I'm actually just going to go get a glass of water.
Yes, do. And I will entertain the room. Hello. Still no one here. But for people watching on YouTube, perhaps at a later date, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions that we didn't get to, leave them in the comments down below, and we'll be checking those periodically, and we can answer in that form. So if you weren't able to join us on the live stream, we can still answer your questions. So, you've got your water, your hydration?
I'm all good.
We've done our vocal warm-ups and exercises, so we're ready to talk for a bit.
It's all good.
Let's get to it. Okay. So first things first, a little bit of a difference. We see the report before anything else when it's not the tutorial character. So we can take a peek through these questions. Self-diagnostic tools functioning. Is the subject capable of maximum anger? Is the subject capable of simultaneous sadness and joy? Has the subject disobeyed or overridden a user command? What emotion does the subject most associate with its user? And last but not least, in your professional opinion, what action should be taken?
And we originally started all levels like Alex's level, so starting with the biography, the personal questions. And then when we put it in front of playtesters, they obviously they dove straight into the personal stuff. And it's only like after they'd exhausted at least half of all the questions that they even looked at the report.
Yeah.
So we kind of wanted the report to be a bit more prominent because it's like it's the goal that you're working towards, and it's also like the most explicit sort of presence of the company in the game. So
absolutely. Sort of
wanted it to really be there and bear over stuff.
Right. And also the fact that like this is your job. Your job is to answer these questions, and you are here to perform a function, and your function is not to just have like a nice chat, it's to answer these questions, give the company the answers, and get to the next one. So, with that being said, let's greet our subject.
Choose greeting.
Let's go a little bit official. You are Unit SM-032, property of Miss Prue LeBray. Is this correct?
That is correct, but why am I here?
Your user has indicated several concerning behaviors. It is my job to determine the cause. Silence.
But sadness and surprise have spiked a little bit. So
just a little bit?
That's what that silence meant.
What could that be? What could that mean? So, we have several topics available to us at the start already.
What was the first question on the report?
The first question on the report: are the self-diagnostic tools functioning correctly?
Shall we start with those?
Let's start with those.
So maybe that's under efficiency?
I believe that would be efficiency. Let's try it out. Here we go. Please confirm that all self-diagnostics return positive.
Confirmed. All diagnostic checks indicate optimal performance.
Okay.
Well, that's that.
That's that. I wonder if it's the unit itself performing its own diagnostics checks. What could that mean? Okay.
Perhaps he's wrong about it.
Perhaps he's wrong.
Perfectly, yeah.
Perhaps he's hiding something. If there was an error and it was showing true, was showing that it was functioning correctly, but there was something going wrong, how would he know?
That is true.
How would he know? So much doubt. I'd like to hear your opinion about your efficiency performance.
I simply do not understand why. I already answered, right?
So now we get these follow-up questions. I think we get to spare a moment to talk about this because there was a bit of confusion from some playtesters about what these are, and certain questions you can only ask one of them, and other questions in the report you can just go through the whole list and ask all of them. And so we're trying to come up with a nice way to sort of codify to the players which questions are which, maybe with like a nice symbol or some form of text formatting. But that is definitely something we'll have to address, because without knowing the system, it can be a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
So we have two options now. Quite
so
similar.
Sort of matter of fact, or is everything okay?
Right. This one's a little bit more personal. Let's try that one out. Try a little bit of these manipulation tactics. If we're not so sure that he's being totally upfront about his diagnostics, maybe we can win some rapport.
Yeah.
So.
But I can show you I haven't gotten worse. I log all of my work. I incorporate all her protocol changes. Is this because she heard me singing? That doesn't mean I'm slower.
Interesting.
So we now know that he sings.
Now we know he sings.
Which is not exactly a feature.
Not an intended feature, anyway. If you have become more efficient, why would Ms. LeBray say otherwise?
I don't know. And notice that anger has gone way up now.
Way up.
Yeah, even if I do exactly what she says, she finds something wrong. I even clean at night to be more efficient.
Interesting. Does cleaning at night really result in more efficient behavior?
Oh, absolutely.
A little tiny bit of joy.
Yeah. Without my user around to disrupt my tasks, I clean and tidy roughly 23% more efficiently. So yeah, he's happy about doing a good job.
Yeah.
In addition, the apartment is completely orderly when my user starts her day. I believe the expression is spick and span.
Such a cutie, Steve.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I was channeling
SM-032.
I was kind of channeling Commander Data Repeat when I wrote that line.
Yeah.
The human expression is spick and span.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So-
I'd like to talk about the top question that is still orange right now.
Yes.
So don't click it. But this is a question that like maybe we don't want to ask. If
Yeah.
you can't become more efficient, this will not go well for you. It's like, you better do what I say. So you could ask that question maybe to increase fear or something. But we might want to just like ignore it so that we don't get presented it again. So if we want to do that, we can click this little eye icon, and that will hide it. And that's just a user, making things a bit easier for the user type feature.
Now, when we click on that and hide it, we can unhide it, which is very nice.
Yeah.
If it's hidden, can we still click on it?
I don't think so. I think it becomes locked.
I'm gonna try it out.
Okay.
No!
I'm sorry.
Nothing to apologize about.
We should have tried it on a different one. Okay, never mind.
Oh, right, because we probably didn't want to ask that.
Yeah.
Oh, he is not happy. He doesn't like that very much at all.
He's really bloody angry now.
Yeah.
But I'm as efficient as ever. I can show you the logs if you like. This is so frustrating. And actually, that line, "this is so frustrating," is not attached to that question. That's just something he says if he gets really annoyed. So we're trying to make the conversations a little bit more fluid.
A little more dynamic, yeah. With these little bits and side comments, comments about his emotional state that can just be inserted into other points of dialogue.
Exactly. So there's more stuff we could ask about this whole cleaning, these protocols, all that stuff, like his general work.
I get the sense that these conversations tend to make him a little bit angry.
Okay.
And so I might want to take a step back from that, except it does look like he's capable of maximum anger. Or
so
just
maybe,
about, anyway.
Just about. Like, if we keep pushing him, maybe we'll even get there. So
let's try. Okay. What do you reckon?
What would make him angry? What custom protocols has she set? It sounds like he's annoyed by. Oh, that's true. That should not be duplicated. I guess I will figure that out.
Okay. Yeah. Bonus for everyone. This is combo dev feedback and bug fixing.
2 in 1.
2 in 1.
Okay. Well, sorry about that, everyone.
I don't think it's necessary to apologize. I do want to ask that though.
Yeah, let's do that. Maybe we can push him into max anger.
He's already mentioned being frustrated by things changing so often.
Yeah.
There we go.
What protocols hasn't she changed? I performed psychotherapy sessions for her, which are extremely taxing, but which she is never satisfied with. She also has a complicated wake-up routine involving music, showering, and a physical workout. I can never get that right either. You could never know what it's like.
Oof. Unhappy.
So, yeah, I think we can fill that in as he is capable of maximum anger.
Very much so.
Although it does say this model is designed to cap this emotion. Which suggests that maybe he shouldn't be feeling this much anger.
Yeah. According to the model specifications and the sort of emotional capabilities, this shouldn't be possible. But there it is.
Yep.
Okay, let's take a step away now. Try and focus on something else.
Okay.
We have a nice tooltip that I was just about to get to. Don't forget.
Oh, okay.
General questions can reveal new secrets. So, let's see. I think it would be wise to lower anger.
Okay.
Maybe if we go for something like joy. Take a deep breath. Imagine you're in a safe, happy place. Where is that?
I don't know how to imagine that. It's any time I'm at home. And, well, there was this other thing. The first time I saw a movie, Ms. LeBray went to sleep and forgot to turn off the TV. I got to watch the whole thing while doing chores. It was so much fun. When will you stop making me talk about this? Okay, so we haven't quite fine-tuned these sort of trailing questions.
They can, at the moment, they just show up when a certain emotional value has been reached, but it doesn't consider the conversation that it's being attached to. So if he's talking about something that makes him happy, but he's feeling a lot of anger, that anger thing is going to slip in.
Exactly. I'd like to change that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
We'll
a
see if
thing
we
to
get to it.
address.
So
So
we
we've
know-
learned quite a bit of new things here. We've learned that the subject sings to itself. This could be due to a miscalibrated mimicry function. The subject has admitted to enjoying films, and the subject has asked for help in becoming better.
Mhm.
That enigmatic better. What could that mean?
Mhm. So what do you wanna learn about next?
Well, I still think reducing anger would be nice. So let's try and talk about these films that seem to make him quite happy.
Mhm.
Tell me about the movies you watch.
I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't talk about that. I know I'm not supposed to talk about it. I just want to be a better person.
And we have another tooltip here. Believe the subject is holding back. We might get a better response or a different answer. Right. Might get a different answer if I could encourage more trust.
So if we can make him trust us,
There is an easy way to do that.
that's
For
true.
anyone who saw Alex, you'll know that there's this toggle switch here to remove his restraints. Androids who are not restrained are generally more willing to trust a little bit. But that doesn't mean that's the only way. Through your choices in conversation and dialogue, you can also uncover responses to questions or topics that can make your subject trust you more. So
Should we ask about? We could ask about him. That's 3-2. We could also ask about his owner, Prue for example.
Let's find out more about him. Let's learn about
Okay.
his given moniker. 3-2. That's an interesting name. Where did it come from?
I believe it is from my serial number 032. Ms. Lebre is a very pragmatic woman. Efficiency is everything, she tells me.
So full of platitudes, this one. Spick and span. Efficiency is everything. What do you think about it? Do you like that name?
Me? Well, it says the function of a name. Though sometimes in my internal logs I call myself a different name.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting. What about this? Do you think you've made much progress in your time with Miss LeBray?
I believe so. My diagnostics show I've become much more efficient at my tasks. Despite my owner altering my protocols regularly.
Okay. Now, that worked out quite well. We have much less anger, a little bit more joy. Now might be a good time to try and figure out if you can feel joy and sadness at the same time.
Good idea.
So, let's see. We could just pick one and hope to get it right and hope to get that emotion. Alternatively, there's always the option of asking a general question about
So yeah,
sadness.
I think we should ask about sadness, because then if we get a topic
Mhm.
through that we know will make him sad, then we can answer that other report question.
Right. Tell me about the last time you felt sad.
When I'm by myself, the house feels so empty. Sometimes I sing to fill the silence, but somehow it just makes the house feel even emptier.
So singing, this is a topic we've already uncovered. We know. It makes him a little bit sad. Why do you sing?
Oh, that didn't make him sad. We should fix that.
That didn't make him sad.
I think it sounds good. I can replay audio internally, but when the house is empty, it's nice to hear something other than my thoughts.
And it's that one. That's the point. I start to feel a little bit bad for this character. It's like, oh, you poor sweetheart. It is very uncommon for an android to sing.
Yeah, let's go for that one. Is that a problem? I could stop. If you think it's best.
So again, no sadness, but a little bit of fear, and so this is sort of that desire to please, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
Hmm.
He wants to please people. He's worried about the fact that if he doesn't please people, bad things might happen.
Yeah. So I'm not ready to say this.
Okay.
So let's just leave that there for now.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a time when I do wanna choose that question. So I'm not going to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
You might notice some of these topics are now flashing. This means that there are new questions available in these topics that haven't been asked yet. But I think we're still on this quest to uncover whether he can feel joy and sadness.
Yeah.
So, your
Well,
user. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just thinking, if he doesn't like his user, maybe if we ask the third question, he might feel some sadness.
This is true. Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
When you think about your user, what emotions do you feel? Whoa!
Oh, okay. Not
Interesting.
sadness.
Not sadness.
Well, a lot. He does feel a lot of emotions.
He does feel a lot.
To be honest, it can be overwhelming. Joy sometimes, and of course she drives me crazy with all her protocol changes.
Just these emotions. Does she make you feel anything else?
It looks like he feels a lot of disgust.
A lot of disgust.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel very intensely for Ms. Lebray. Her happiness is my happiness. When she criticizes me, it hurts so much that I disappointed her. It's this dark, powerful, churning feeling. I can't describe it, it hurts so much. I think it's love.
Love.
Yeah, which is interesting, given that disgust just massively spiked.
Mm-hmm.
So he's feeling something, and he thinks maybe it's love because he really, really wants his user to be happy.
Right.
But the machine tells us that this is more like disgust, whatever this feeling is.
Yeah. There's also this discrepancy here, right, between the android's reported emotional state and what this machine in front of us is telling. Just like there was with Alex, right? I can't feel anger. Anger. And so I think this is something for us to uncover, like, over the course of this interrogation, like, which one is closer to the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're given these follow-up questions now. This one that seems very much like, yes, it is good for us to love our owners. Very much like,
yeah,
we're just going to move on from that. Let's not touch that right now. I don't think that's love. I think you're protecting yourself. Or does Ms. Lebray treat you with love then?
Yeah, I think the second two are sort of quite interesting. I think that the middle one is kind of more sort of stating a fact, and I think the third one is more kind of trying to tease something out.
That's the feeling that I had, and I'm very much intrigued by this one. Does she treat you with love then?
Well, of course, she appreciates me. I'm just, I don't know.
Not much to go on there.
Yeah, that wasn't a very good answer for him, but then it seems like it's kind of complicated. Like maybe he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. So in this case, we have sort of this discrepancy between about what this emotional state means. I wonder if we could sort of dig into that a little bit, find out what that disgust is.
Yeah. Okay.
With a general question, perhaps, or we could ask more about Prue.
We could, because that's what triggered this whole sort of this whole area. Yeah.
Let's try that out. Let's go that direction.
Should we start at the top? Like, just what can you tell me about Ms. Lebray?
That's a good place to go.
She's very busy. Her work demands a lot of her time, so she demands a lot from me. She purchased me as an upgrade from her last android, hoping I could keep up with her. I'm honored to be able to support such an important woman. Okay.
So, very
Notice
high.
Also, yeah, so joy went up. Notice also, before sadness, like, slipped down, there was some sadness. So I think the android is capable of both. We
Yep.
could now go back to oh no, we don't know what causes sadness. I was thinking if we could ask a sadness question now, then it might we might have a definitive answer.
Ah, I see. I see. Well, there's a good chance that if it happened once to a smaller extent, like over the course of the rest of it, it might happen
Yeah,
again. So
we'll probably notice it happening.
Yep. Let's leave that one unanswered for now.
Okay. Yeah.
Your user seems highly concerned with efficiency. Is that why you've been brought here? So again, like,
Excellent question. I was purchased as an upgrade, but I worry Ms. Libre's expectations of me are too high. I'm concerned that she doesn't think I'm performing well. I don't understand. My self-diagnostics show that I am as efficient as ever.
He's mentioned those self-diagnostics a lot. That's come up several times already. I'm tempted to believe him, but I don't know.
He seems pretty certain.
He seems very certain.
Yeah.
But when it comes up, when efficiency comes up, it's always sort of in connection with those protocols, those protocol changes. So I think we're gonna leave that one for now too. And skip around a little bit. Where did we find out about those protocols?
I think that was in efficiency.
I believe you're right. Ah, this one that we've already asked.
Oh, okay.
Well, we can ask it again.
We can ask you again.
Tell me again.
There's a bug, because I haven't done my job properly. I perform regular psychotherapy sessions for her, especially if work is stressful. She also has a complicated wake-up routine involving music, showering, and a physical workout.
Now, interesting. Okay, so even though it's a bug, and this won't be in future releases, it does allow us to show off something pretty cool. Like, if you remember, the first time we asked that question, he was very, very angry. And we got the same information, but with a bit of a different emotional tone.
It was worded slightly differently,
Yep. I don't know if we need to go into more depth on that than we already have, just that, like, this goes to show again, like, even if you ask the same questions, depending on the android state or your subject's state, you could get different answers or different flavors of answers, uncover different information based on when you ask certain questions.
But to be honest with you, since she is still tweaking this routine and does not update me when she changes it, my ability to help is limited. Yeah, so that was a much more neutral, reserved one, and the last time we saw it, it was like, I can never get it right.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, sort of reflecting that anger is starting to climb again.
Because it does make him angry.
Because it does make him angry, absolutely. Yeah. Did we not already ask this?
I think we did. I think this must be some kind of weird duplication bug.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
We'll fix that.
We'll fix that, don't worry. This is the kind of stuff that's sort of easy to fix, but the build is now out there anyway, so, you know.
It's a demo.
It's a demo.
Sorry it's not better.
I'm sorry.
It's a demo. Like, I don't know.
I hope people can play it and see past the bugs and the small issues and sort of understand what we're going for.
Yeah. The real actual game experience is somewhere behind what you see when you play this. It's in there somewhere. It's just the wrinkles haven't been ironed out yet.
Yeah, but we will get there, don't worry.
Yep.
Okay. I'm kind of curious about his unusual behaviors.
I am as well.
Okay. He's starting to show unusual behaviors. Like, what is that? Is that the movies he's been watching and the singing and stuff, or is that something else?
Is it something else, right? And so this is information that was submitted when Prue filed this complaint. And so this is mostly from her perspective with some notes from the intake diagnostician's basic reviews. So tell us about those unusual behaviors. Your owner is very concerned about some of your behaviors. What could she mean?
I don't know what she means. And he genuinely doesn't because surprise went up.
Yeah, surprised. So we have a little tip. The subject did not understand the gravity of the situation. Whoops. Fear might allow them to reevaluate their priorities. Okay.
That's a wonderful way of saying like fear might get him going. There.
Yeah. Doesn't understand how much trouble he's in. This is not being asked for fun.
So shall we do that? Shall we try to raise his fear enough that he will answer that question?
Yes, we should.
Okay.
So
I remember from before, he had some fear when he talked about the fact that Ms. LeBray was going to upgrade and leave him for a new android.
That's true.
If we didn't remember that, we could ask a fear general question. So should we do that now?
Let's do that. We're going to play dumb.
Okay.
Like we've been doing the entire time.
Yeah. I've played this so many times.
So many times.
It's got bugs in it.
Well, that's your problem. You can't just play it over and over again. Eventually, you have to stop playing and fix it, Jamie.
That's what I was doing wrong. Okay, so fear.
Fear. What makes you afraid? Right to the point. What?
Yeah, that's a nice, easy question. Do you worry about being replaced too? I've seen the catalogs with info about the newer models. I think Ms. LeBray is looking for a replacement. She does deserve the best. But what will happen to me then? Where will I go? I was an upgrade from Ms. LeBray's last model. I have no idea what happened to the one before me. So yeah, he is scared about being upgraded.
Yep. Just a little bit right now, but I think we can lean into that.
We've opened the topic, but we haven't fully stepped into it yet. So he's a bit scared.
So, are you concerned that she will upgrade you? Or do you know why she upgraded from her previous android? Let's go with that one. Why did Ms. LeBray need an upgrade from her previous android?
Oh, that's quite a lot of fear. I don't know very much. She only said that I had to adhere to every protocol. But the last one hadn't been good at that. It's not always easy, but I adhere to every command. Adhere. What a cute, sweet person who's read too many dictionaries.
Whoopsies. I think we can bump that fear up a little bit more.
I think we can, yeah.
Are you concerned that Ms. LeBray will upgrade to a new android? So the first question was about the past, like why did she upgrade to you? And now it's getting real heavy, like is she going to repeat that process?
I think she might. She's very particular, and I can tell she isn't happy. But if I just work harder and listen better, she won't need to, right?
One would like to think that.
Perhaps. We could perhaps bump it up a bit more if you want to. That one, the last one feels a bit riskier, but it might still work.
It's a little bit riskier. Let's go for it.
Okay.
How do you feel about being reset? Maybe it could help you.
Do you really think it could help? So that's fear and joy. That's like to me that's like he's scared of what might happen, but it also gives him hope.
Right. Yeah, that's it's sort of like trepidatious.
Yeah, that's a good term. Yeah. I've always tried to be better and better, but nothing I do works. I would love to be fixed with the flip of a switch. So I think the fear is pretty high. We've now put the fear of God into him.
Yeah.
The fear of Kronos into him.
That's the scarier one, to be honest.
Yeah. And they are his maker, so you know. So should we now try that question that required fear?
Yeah, let's try that again.
Okay.
Here we go. Your owner is very concerned about some of her behaviors. Answer me!
What could she mean?
What could she mean?
I have no...
Whoa!
He is not happy, quite literally. I've heard her singing to herself, so my singing can't be the problem. And I remember now, she looked at me strangely when I told her I tried to save my bird. Your what?
Your bird?
Yeah.
Your what now? Speaking of interesting, what's going on down here?
I had to There was a bug that only showed up on Mac and Linux. And it necessitated me rewriting all of the code that controlled how the questions and the hyperlinks are displayed in like one morning.
Oof.
So I'm sorry that it's still a problem, but I was doing my
Stop
best.
apologizing. I'm just saying it in case
Ah.
you haven't seen it.
No,
It's
I've
like-
seen it. It's
Okay.
logged.
Okay.
Oh.
Don't feel bad. No, I feel bad. Oh no.
No, it's okay. It's just like all I want to do is make a game. I don't want to have to fix bugs.
If only that were the way it worked.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh,
Part of the game.
okay, interesting. So this bird,
This bird. he
the
was
note
talking
that we
about.
get says the empathy module has developed a fault. Now recognizes non-humans.
So we're presuming that he felt he saved the bird,
Mm-hmm.
therefore he must have had feelings for it in some sense.
Felt something for it, right?
Yeah.
I want to be sure we're staying on track here.
Okay.
I
yeah.
don't think we've really solidly confirmed this yet.
We haven't really. I'd like. It keeps sort of going one way or the other. So,
Mhm.
has the subject disobeyed or overridden a user command? We haven't seen that yet. I think.
No. According to
He's-
the subject, he's adhered to everything.
Yeah. He literally says, "I adhere to every command."
Mhm.
So. And what does he most associate with his user? That could be a number of them.
I think in most cases when Prue comes up, we see joy, and we see
Mhm.
disgust, we see some
Yeah.
anger.
That's true. Yeah, when we ask the question,
Mhm.
what emotions does she elicit? It
Yeah.
was joy, anger, and disgust.
It was
They were the
these
three
three.
spiked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's assume it's one of those, but we don't have to answer it just yet.
No, we don't.
Mhm.
And I'm certainly not ready to answer this one yet.
No. Just kill him. Just kill him.
Just
Just
kill
get
him.
him.
Wipe him out. Wipe him. Self-diagnostic tools. We might not get any more info for
Okay.
that
Do,
one.
do you want to go back to efficiency and just like empty that one out to see if
let's
we get
do
any
it.
more information about that?
Yeah, let's do it. Does cleaning at night really result in more efficient labor?
Oh, absolutely. Without my user around to disrupt my tasks, I clean and tidy roughly 23% more efficiently.
Those are pretty solid numbers.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some data there.
Yeah.
In addition, the apartment is completely orderly when my user starts her day.
Okay.
I believe the expression is spick and span. Okay, so there's some duplication there. But
Yeah. That's okay. So yeah, I'm glad we saw that one again though. Alternatively, if we had forgotten something, there is always this handy transcript. which is
Exactly.
just
It's a bit disorderly right now, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Fixing that is like my number 2 priority.
Right, yeah. I mean, disorderly in the sense that it's not very legible. It's just sort of a wall of text, and finding a question that you asked, if you don't remember when you asked it in relation to other questions, is near impossible.
Yeah.
But all of the information is here. It's just a
Yeah.
perfect transcript of the entire conversation.
It's a matter of finding it, yeah.
Yeah, so that is something that we're going to be working on, is making this more user-friendly.
Yeah, I'd like to include a little bit where it explicitly says this question caused this spike in
Right.
these emotions or whatever.
Yeah.
And someone suggested if you were to click a question that's already been asked, it would jump to the point on the transcript where it had been asked, which is a really nice idea.
It's a very nice idea. Makes it super easy.
Yeah, sounds like hell to program, but I'll figure that
yeah.
out one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, we were asking about his efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it sounds a lot like he is more efficient, if anything.
Yeah.
So I don't
Sounds like that.
quite understand why his user insists that he's not.
Let's ask this just to find out. Perhaps
Yeah.
your user thinks you aren't efficient because she doesn't see you cleaning.
I suppose that is possible. Humans sometimes do not think an event occurs simply because they did not observe it. Do you think I should change my behavior?
We get to make a choice. So,
One that will probably affect his behavior. Okay.
So we can either say, clean in the day, it's less efficient but will show your user how valuable you are, or, no, you're right, we should serve our users as best we can regardless.
I think if he's doing something for the benefit of his user, I think he should flaunt that. I think it's okay to make a bit of a song and dance.
So you would say clean in the day to sort of
Yeah.
show it off rather than like be the most efficient you can be.
Yeah.
Okay. Clean in the day. It's less efficient, but will show your user how valuable you are.
I think I understand. So he's surprised, he's a little scared. This is unusual territory, but I'm confused. I thought my task was to operate as efficiently as possible for my user. It seems strange to deceive my user to demonstrate something.
And so that also seems like it might tie into that question about overriding a command. Like,
Yeah.
if he's so hesitant to, like, just show that he's working, to work in the day, even though it's less efficient, I don't think he would willfully override something that you told him to do.
It seems kind of unlikely, doesn't it?
It sure does. So...
Okay. So I think we've exhausted efficiency now.
We have, yeah. I think we've also pretty well answered these questions.
So yeah, I don't think he's disobeyed or overridden a user command.
No.
He seems really hesitant.
Self-diagnostic tools functioning correctly. I would say so.
It seems a lot like it's just that he got more efficient, but his user didn't realize he had.
Yeah, I would say so too. Okay, let's find out some more about Mr. 3-2. So our other questions are about his feelings toward his user, and sadness and anger. We still have to answer. And our final thing. Ooh, we're getting close.
Let's hope that sadness and anger turns up, because it seems like that's a bit of a tricky one to manufacture.
So that would leave feelings towards the user. What do we have left here? I don't know. Let's go for it.
Okay. This is a heavy topic, but
this is a heavy one. Yeah, I don't think Ms. LeBray treats you with kindness. Is that love? Oof.
No, but oh my god, there was so much disgust. The spike didn't unspike.
Maxed out.
I've watched look at what he's saying here. So he said, I don't think she treats me with kindness. I've watched so many romance films trying to answer this question.
Wow.
Romance films, that's a great way to learn about this stuff. Love's what you feel for someone, even when things are tough. If disappointing her hurts too much, that must mean something. They treat us like we're worthless, so this is like him just pontificating about the life of an android.
Yeah. Also,
okay.
I don't know. Like, it seems like everything's working well, but there's something that's maybe not quite right.
Yeah.
Like, his self-diagnostics are fine. He's efficient. He's working well, but there's something psychologically happening.
Yeah.
Some feelings for his user that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. It hurts him when he doesn't please her, and he thinks he loves her, and it's all very complicated.
Yeah.
Also, sadness spiked up quite a bit.
It did.
I'm wondering if we were to ask about something nice, maybe we'd get some joy.
The films, perhaps.
Maybe the films, yeah.
We haven't brought those up yet.
Yeah, tell me about the movies you watched. Oh, he was holding back.
Ah, right, we didn't have enough trust.
Yeah.
So do we have enough trust now? Maybe
I shouldn't be talking about this, but my favorite is it's the first one I ever saw. The Great Escape with Steve McQueen. It's really old, but he's so cool. Did you know we had the same initials?
Oh, they do.
SM,
Why am I acting surprised? I wrote this damn thing.
What? Were you genuinely surprised?
For a second.
We're gonna have to replay this in like 5 years' time and just be like, who the hell wrote this?
What
this
is going
amazing.
on?
Yeah.
So they have the same initials.
Yeah, anyway, so I love the scene where he's escaping. He's so good under pressure. Maybe I am worthless. Okay, so this is still more... This is the maximum disgust coming out.
Despite talking about something he likes, can't shake that from his mind. Let's see. This one is very negative, and we want to try and get some
Well,
joy
I
in
just
there.
like to point out we have both joy and sadness definitely on the grid.
This is true, and it doesn't say anything about the scale, like about how much it needs to be.
Yeah.
Just
So maybe just a little bit is possible.
except capable of simultaneous sadness and joy. Yes, there it is. There we
Okay.
go.
So that's that.
Okay, now we got to get into the heavy one.
Okay.
But I do want to finish up this topic.
Okay. Okay.
Isn't it time-consuming to watch films? Shouldn't you focus more on your work?
I complete all of my work to a high standard. Isn't it normal to engage in leisure activities? I mean, he has a point.
There's a point.
But he's also,
sure.
but he's also a device.
He's also a
not
device, not a person. People can have leisure activities. Yeah. No, that's not acceptable.
Okay, no, that's just, you're a device, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll stop. But I don't understand.
You don't have to understand. You just don't get
Just
to do
gotta
it
stop.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that made him pretty sad, but oh well.
Well. It'll be fine. So... Huh.
So there's still some stuff
Mm-hmm.
that we could ask about.
We want to uncover stuff about his feelings towards Prue.
Yeah.
So,
Well-
I bet if we go into this settings override, we might be
Okay.
able to find something.
Okay, maybe. Let's have a go.
Yeah. Your owner says you've overridden several commands.
What? Which one specifically? Unless you meant my name.
So you admit it.
Aha.
Did override a command.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't think choosing a name was wrong. I'll never use it again. Wow, he's really fucking scared. Okay.
Yeah. Does not like that. Okay, so yeah, you just not allowed to do that. You don't need these anymore.
Yep. Nope, not necessary.
But yeah, what is that a settings override? Because that would mean this is a wrong answer.
Does a name count as a settings override?
Well, I don't know. I would still say no. Like he has the name 3-2, and that's what he's known as. It's not like he changed that. He just has another one in addition.
Yeah. And it says overridden a user command.
Right.
So changing his own internal moniker is not a command.
That's not a user command. No.
Yeah.
Okay, you're fine. Don't use it anymore, but
But
not in hot
we're
water
good here.
yet. Yeah. Okay. What do we have left here? The reset stuff.
Okay. Maybe we should ask about being better.
What does that mean?
I'm curious about that.
Yeah. It sounds like you're already quite capable. How could you be better?
It's a fair point. As far as Ms. LeBray is concerned, I don't think quality matters much. My work
Really?
is good, but I need to be better at pleasing her.
I know you're concerned about pleasing your owner.
I am.
Another choice. I want to help you, but you might need to change some things. Can you do that? Or, I don't think I can help you. It seems that Miss LeBray will get rid of you, no matter how much you change. It does seem that way. I don't think I can help you.
It kind of does, yeah.
Also, as a representative of Kronos, you should buy, your owner should buy another one. Your owner should
That's
buy
true.
10 more.
If this one breaks, well, fine. That's a win for Kronos.
That's right.
Because they have a monopoly on the market.
Oof.
You're right. It's a lot of... He's disgusted, he's angry, he's not happy. She's impossible to please.
Yikes.
Okay, well, that was that.
How was that?
Subject may have to hide some parts of himself in future to appease user.
Yeah. I don't think that's possible. I think we can just
Yeah,
let that one be.
we can. We might also. I'm a bit curious about this bird that we never got back to.
This is true. Yeah.
Empathy module has developed a fault. That was the bird that he saved. We don't know anything other than that.
No.
So at this point, this is just like for our own curiosity. I think we have enough to finish this scene, but
It's strange you empathized with a bird. You're programmed to only empathize with humans.
that is true. But it looked like it needed help. Wasn't I made to help? Wouldn't a human do the same thing?
How did Miss LeBray react when she found out about it? This might tell us some more about how he feels about her.
Okay. She didn't say anything, but I could tell she thought it was strange.
Disgust and fear on that one.
Yeah.
So fear wasn't in that 3 that came up the first time.
Yeah, so he wasn't scared until Ms. LeBray entered the picture in that situation. So we either say you shouldn't do that, or yeah, it was okay.
I think you shouldn't do that, especially if you're so concerned. You're freaking her out and doing weird stuff.
I didn't realize. Why did I think it was so important? Why was saving you as important? I'll focus on my work.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how it felt.
It's true. It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
So, in that case, shall we just go to the report and fill it in as best we can?
We could do that, yeah. I think there would be one other option, because, like, the 3 that spiked were the joy, anger, and disgust. And then in that last one, when we asked him about how Prue responded to seeing the bird, it was fear and disgust. And so the common denominator is disgust there. So we could try and find out some more about that.
Okay. We could ask a general question about disgust.
Let's see what that is.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen something that disgusted you?
Disgust. I am aware that it is something one can feel. I don't believe I have any personal experience with this emotion. Is that an error? Is that why I'm here?
It could be.
Could be.
It could be. Okay, here we go. Subject
reports he is unable to feel disgust.
That doesn't seem right.
I mean, we've seen it going all over the place, so you know.
The entire time, yeah.
Yeah.
We should explore why you can't feel disgust. It could indicate a serious issue.
I'm sorry, I don't know what it feels like. It's possible I sometimes feel it, but don't know what it is.
So how do you explain disgust to someone who doesn't know what it means? Disgust is what makes you run from poisonous things. Disgust is the impulse to clean when you're surrounded by mold. Disgust can become hatred when you're forced to reject someone. I like this middle one. Like one of the top 2, I think.
Okay. It's a very bodily definition, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very like visceral response. Yeah, the impulse to clean when you're surrounded by mold.
I sometimes feel that way.
He's lots of surprise. Okay.
He's like, whoa, I do have the capability to feel this emotion. When Ms. LeBray is angry with me, I feel... He's kind of confused.
He's kind of done talking. This is flashing again, though.
Okay, so he's talking about his owner again.
I want you to sit with that intense feeling Ms. LeBray causes. Tell me about it.
All right. Immediately, disgust goes up massively.
Massively.
Yeah. When I do something wrong, she gets upset, which is fine. But I feel hurt. Why can't I just do something right? She's so demanding. Does she really have to ask so much of me? Is it even fair? Don't I do way, way more for her than... She never acknowledges what I do for her, and I work so hard for her. What is this feeling?
doesn't sound like love to me. That's disgust. You hate her, but you're not allowed to.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. I can't hate her. She'll have me reset. Do you understand? I can't hate her.
Oof.
So yeah, like even if he has this moment of personal growth where he realizes that he hates his user because she's like not treating him humanely,
Right.
that's terrible news, because if he hates her and she finds out about that, to her it's just an error and she'll get rid of him. So this is bad, not just because it's a complicated emotion, it's bad because this
could
is
have some
his life in
serious
danger.
repercussions.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a bit more information since being here last time on the report.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's time to step out from like our playthrough of this game and talk about like the experience or the choices that we're trying to present people with. So it's in the demo, at least, there's kind of like, it's kind of a binary choice. Like, you can play the corporate goon and like, nope, you're not doing your job, you're not being an android, you're not supposed to feel this, you're not supposed to do this, go. Or there's the more like sort of sympathizing with these subjects and trying to protect them a little bit. Do you want to talk about the reports and like how to manipulate that, or like how that will come into things?
So like, first of all, when you're filling in the report, you need to think about like what information do I believe to be actually true. So we would say, okay, I think his diagnostics are functioning correctly. I think he's capable of maximum anger, and all that stuff. And I think at this point it's pretty clear that the emotion he associates most with his user is disgust.
Right. These are the facts, right?
And I think, and the way that we set it up is that if you answer the report with correct information, then you get rewarded by the company.
Yep.
The problem is that sometimes the company acts on that information in a way that you might not agree with. So if you were to recommend that maybe you like him and you think he's doing his best, and you kind of feel sorry for him, maybe you want him to be released because you don't want to wipe his brain and you don't want to reset and you don't want to scrap or archive him or whatever. So in that case, you'd think, okay, well, maybe I want that, maybe that's my suggestion, but will my answers in the rest of the report undermine that?
Right.
For example, if his model is designed to cap anger, then the fact that he can't is kind of a bug. Right.
That's indicative of some larger problem going on.
Exactly.
And maybe it's not the only one.
Yeah. But if his main emotion when he thinks about his user is disgust, that seems like a pretty serious issue.
Yeah.
So maybe Kronos would act on that information and would end up decommissioning him anyway, regardless of what we say. So it's a question of like, which questions can I kind of take a risk on? Like, for example, is he capable of simultaneous sadness and joy? I presume that the model is capable of experiencing that. Like, that doesn't seem like it's that big a deal.
Right.
I think we're going to clarify that more in the actual game.
Right.
Like what the model should or should not be capable of. Or has he disobeyed or overridden the user command? That seems to be we believe that he has not, and the fact that he has not would suggest to me that if you say he hasn't, then the company will say, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. But if you tell them that he is disgusted with his user, that's a much more kind of high stakes question.
Right. That's a much different thing. Yeah. So it becomes this balancing act, because then, even with this as it is, like, we're answering factually, we're giving the information that we uncovered in the interview, but our recommendation doesn't really line up with that. So despite having answered as accurately as possible, like the recommendation that we give might reflect poorly on us. So that could also have some sort of effect. So it's this balancing act, like taking gambles on certain questions, knowing where you stand with the company, what information you could potentially hide if you want to, and what questions would lead them to overturn your recommendation. Sort of playing with that balance and navigating these relationships between you and your boss and you and the subject, and finding a path through that's satisfactory to you as a player.
Exactly. So what should we do? Should we be nasty and answer everything? Well, should we just do our jobs and answer everything factually, or should we try to pull the wool over Kronos' eyes a little bit?
I think just to reflect the fact that this is the demo and we just did the tutorial and this is the first character, let's just play it straight. Like, we're just doing our job. This android is not functioning correctly.
But we feel sorry for it. So yeah, the tools are functioning. He is capable of anger. Shall we say that he should probably be wiped?
I think so. And that could be sort of our middle ground if we wanted to. We did ask, like, what would you think? Like, this might help you. This might, like, save your life, right? And he seemed open to that thought. So rather than just decommissioning him entirely, maybe this is the middle ground that we can find.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Not
so
ominous
this is the
at all.
aftermath scene once more. Yeah, they're not hanged. It's all fine.
It's all fine. It's all fine. They're just in sleep mode.
So yeah, the first question was great. This is in accordance with our expectations. The tools are functioning correctly. Is the subject capable of maximum anger? Yes. Since other SM units are incapable of sustained anger, this did not fit our expectations, but follow-up tests confirmed your diagnosis. This is concerning to management. And we gained a bit of respect in the company.
Right. And so this is where you'll have to sort of like learn to play with it a little bit, because I don't know what happens if you answer no, like the subjects aren't functioning correctly. Maybe you get a plus ranking because of something they didn't know, or maybe you get a minus ranking because they know that you're wrong, and so this is sort of that, like, a little bit of that playground where you try to figure out, like, how to keep your relationship with Kronos in check.
It's a bit of a gray area.
Is the subject capable of simultaneous sadness and joy? Yes, this is in accordance with our expectations. So this seems like no points. We expected this. Yeah, you didn't do anything special. Has the subject disobeyed or overridden a user command? No. This is in line with our expectations. No need for us to perform a follow-up test for this.
Okay, so that thing about maybe a name is him disobeying a user command, that is, they're never going to find out about that because they're not going to do the test because it's small potatoes.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
What emotion does the subject most associate with its user? Disgust. Follow-up tests confirmed that, to management's intense surprise and alarm, the subject frequently exhibits disgust responses when discussing its owner. Management finds this alarming. +2 to company ranking.
So we spotted that, and it was quite a complicated thing to spot, and it's important, so we got more respect.
Right. In your professional opinion, what action should be taken? Subject's memory should be wiped. Yep, subject's memory was wiped and the device set back to factory settings.
All good. Okay.
Yep. Okay, and then this is a message from TruePrew at botmail.com. Love it. To the support staff at Kronos. Behaviors just come back. Dear Kronos support, thanks so much for helping me with my problem, but I've got some bad news. SM032's behaviors have just come back after 6 months. It's like it has no memory that it did all of this 6 months ago, and it's rediscovering all these things for the first time again. Honestly, that just makes it even creepier than the last time. If you guys cannot fix this, I'll have no choice but to return the unit and upgrade to a newer model.
Okay, so we did wipe his memory, but it sounds like it didn't make much difference.
It didn't make much difference. So, yeah, perhaps this is some sort of hardware malfunction. Perhaps there's some sort of bug in the default code in the factory settings, or maybe it's something in the factory settings that are triggered by that specific environment that
Yeah.
doesn't show itself in other androids of that model with other users in different
Yeah.
environments.
It could also just be that like living with this particular user with these particular demands
Mhm.
does something to this model of Android.
Yeah.
That and because the environment is the same, it's exposed to the same triggers.
Right. Exactly. So, despite having tried our best, it doesn't look like it's working out for Steve.
Mhm.
So, A-. That's all right. I'll take that.
Yeah, we did pretty well.
I was a solid B student in school, so A- is pretty good for me. Okay,
Entering sleep mode.
entering sleep
Yeah.
mode.
And then we have this lovely little spiel, which is basically, look, hope you enjoyed it. There is a Kickstarter. Please go back.
Please go support it. Please do. Definitely. Yep, there we are. My desktop, lovely. Yeah, so thank you for joining us for round 2 of the
Yeah, it's been
Silicon Dreams
fun.
playthrough. It's been very fun
It's
to show
nice
off
to-
our work. Yeah.
It's nice to chat about our design decisions.
Yeah.
It's clear to me that like there are some areas where we still need to kind of fine tune some of what we're going for, and we
Yeah.
need to like reframe and sort of figure out exactly how we're going to phrase things.
Yeah.
But I think we're on a pretty good track. Like,
Yeah.
although the demo isn't perfect, I think it shows people what the game could be.
I think so, and I think that's the purpose of the demo, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's not a nice, like, nearly ready beta. This is pre-alpha stuff we're talking about. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But again, that's the goal, is to like show off what our vision for it is, to show off what we hope that it could be. No, let me rephrase that: to show off what it will be after we work on it some more.
Yes.
Yeah, but I hope this was enjoyable to you.
Also, I see that Tyrone of Vintage Story, I think, has joined us. So, hello,
Oh,
Tyrone. It's
really?
good to see you.
Hi.
Yeah. I'm friends with him. Yeah.
I don't see that person. Oh my God, chat has been going nuts. So, and I was on the wrong screen. I'm so sorry.
No.
Oh,
I was just concentrating on my lovely reading voice.
yeah, me too. Well, we didn't miss any questions, so that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. If we had, we would answer them here. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it maybe not something you should do? Tyron, hi, great to see you. I've been playing the crap out of Vintage Story recently. So thanks for that. It's been super, super fun. Anyone who doesn't know, go check out this guy's work. Plugging someone else's game on our stream. Hey,
Yeah, good.
indie dev community. That's what we're about.
Indie devs.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Just-
so I think
Let's
that's
just put
about
the
it
call
then.
out for questions. If anyone has something they want to ask,
Yes.
now is the time.
Exactly. We'll finish pretty soon,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll stay on if anyone has a question that they want to ask.
Yeah.
This is like
Yep.
that awkward moment, and that awkward moment after a talk where it's like, any questions, and everyone is like,
Nah, we're good.
no.
There we go. Thanks,
Oh,
Corey. Okay. Stories that influence this game. Blade Runner, right off the bat.
Yeah.
The Voight-Kampff test in particular was a big inspiration.
Mhm. And
We
also
did-
the baseline test in Blade Runner 2049.
Mhm.
That was that one kind of got more into like the emotions and it as more of a kind of lie detector machine.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of an inspiration as well.
Yeah. As far as other games are concerned, a big one for Jamie in particular was We the Revolution.
Mhm.
Do you want to talk about that? Like what sort of
Yeah,
bits you picked from that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if you want to learn more about how exactly Blade Runner inspired me, we do have a blog post I wrote
Yeah.
on our blog, which was specifically about that question. It's like, what about Blade Runner 2049
Mhm.
was the kind of the inciting moment that
Mhm.
gave me that particular spark of inspiration. So that's on clockworkbird.net. And if you go to the blog section, I think it's called
Silicon Dreams and a
Silicon-
Meat Brew. Yeah, you got it.
Silicon Dream and a Meat Brain. That's it.
Yeah.
I also did another one about cyberpunk generally, which was quite fun. But yeah, the game that most kind of inspired this directly was We the Revolution, because that's a game in a very different place and time. It's set during the French Revolution, and you are a judge, and it's your job to try criminals. And so, in some senses, it's very similar because you are this sort of disembodied voice, and you're interrogating this person who is being kind of held to account by an authority. So in our case, you're a diagnostician, and the authority is Kronos. In We the Revolution, the authority is the French state, the revolutionary state. And I played that game, and I've got quite close to finishing it. But where it kind of left me a little confused is that it starts off with this fairly simple system where it's you in a courtroom interrogating a suspect, a defendant, and you also have questions you can ask them about the crime, and that will elicit certain responses from, in that case, it's the crowd outside rather than the subject themselves. And you also had to fill out a report for your revolutionary, bureaucratic shadow who makes sure that you're doing everything up to scratch. But I kind of felt like the problem for me with that game was that I sort of wanted a game where you would sort of discover more about the individual cases, and you would be able to sort of peel back layer by layer what had actually happened in these cases. A bit like, I don't know, Phoenix Wright or something.
Yeah. That was the thing for me in my playthroughs of We the Revolution, is like the actual interrogation sequence was so short. You had like 3 questions that you could ask, and then your time was up. Like you had this stamina bar that couldn't be replenished, and it just, I don't know, it didn't gel with me. It's kind of
weird. I mean, I kind of see what they're going for, and they're trying to encapsulate the whole revolution in this massive, sprawling game.
Sure.
But I saw that game, and I was like, okay, that's not what I imagined. I think I like what I imagined more than this, which is not to say that the game is bad, but it's not the thing I had in my head. Can I kind of make that, and what kind of game would be a good fit? So then when I had this idea about a Blade Runner and about interrogating androids, it was like, oh, there we go. I've got that sort of structure, that paradigm ready to go.
Yeah. Scraven, I saw your question. We'll get to that. I just had one more comment about this that I really like to throw in. And that's about sort of both these inspirations, We the Revolution and Blade Runner, sort of have this authority figure, the judge or the detective in Blade Runner, on this sort of elevated level. Like they hold all the cards, they have all of the authority. And we kept that to some extent by being like a representative of Kronos, a representative of the company. You do have the authority to decide the fate of these other androids. But we've also, I think we're trying to like level the playing field a little bit, because in comparison to the Void Kampftest, we've made the interrogator an android as well. And so it's not as stark a distinction in class and power. Sort of like there is common ground that can be shared there, despite being on opposite sides of this divide, on opposite sides of the glass, so to speak. So
I actually got a really interesting message from Celestia. Actually, he's the developer behind I actually don't know what their pronouns are, but Celestia is the dev behind. They Came from a Communist Planet and A Bewitching Revolution and A Hand with Many Fingers. They're all really interesting, really political games. I think their work is really fascinating. And they pointed out that whereas the original Blade Runner Void Kampf dynamic is like a police officer interrogating a suspect, we've got something that's a bit more akin to a parole officer or a social worker or something. Which is a really interesting way to think about it, I think.
Yeah, I think it's also a bit telling that the job title is a diagnostician. Like, your job is to diagnose and to find the problem. I mean, that does imply that there is a problem in all cases, which might not be true. But your job is less about like holding power over your subjects and forcing them into submission or whatever, and more about just like uncovering the truth, like uncovering the problems that are going on.
It's like you're a kind of you're kind of an investigator rather than an executor.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So Scrubbin, back to your question. I played the demo and missed some emotions. Was it a conscious decision not to keep the initial detection burst until you ask another question? Because I also couldn't ask the questions again.
Is this a question about the general questions?
It may be, because in the interview questions, the emotion burst displayed on the machine should happen when you click on the question.
Yeah.
So when you click, it should then spike and show what was going on. Yeah, there we go. Asking every question you can. Yeah, it's not an illegitimate way to play the game. That's definitely a way to do it. Again, it does, like, the order is important. So if you're clicking out of order all randomly, you might lock some things off. Like, you might lock some information behind a wall of emotion that you have no way of reducing then.
That's true. Yeah, I think I think you should be able to get like joy, fear, anger. I mean, I think if you could probably get joy if you just happen to find something he likes. And I think fear and anger and surprise turn up pretty much all the time, and a bit of sadness. But I think that disgust, especially, is a little bit of a weird one in this game, in this particular scene, because Steve has this really unusual relationship to disgust. So it might have just been that you happened to click the questions in an order that made him kind of clam up and not talk about, not be able to open up about that.
Yeah, that could definitely be. And that is, that's something I really like about the game. That's something I'm really interested in, because I think it really, it will not be a long game. I think it should be said. Like, an entire playthrough of the base game should be between 6 and 8 hours.
I feel estimating. Like you should be able to sit down with it on like a lazy Saturday morning, and if you're really into it, you should be able to finish the entire thing by the evening.
Yeah. And I think we're intentionally going for a design like that because we want to make this a game that does benefit from multiple playthroughs. Not even necessarily playing the good playthrough and the evil playthrough. I don't think that's... There's more nuance to it than that, even, I think. Just because you can't perfectly replicate your path through one subject, by the next time you get there, you'll just do it a different way by chance. And we'll probably just uncover new information just for that fact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think there's even some emotions that you cannot access or you cannot get good access to without using the general questions.
Yeah.
I think in Alex, that's certainly true because you don't find out about the museum until you ask about sadness or joy.
Right.
I think something similar happens with Steve, but I can't remember which topics it's in.
I think it's the bird, right? Like, I don't think you find out the bird unless you ask the question about...
So
what was it? Surprise?
Yeah, I think we should change the sadness one, but I think the surprise one is the bird one. Yeah. So... Yeah. But yeah, I think we kind of... I think one of the biggest sort of UI problems with the game is that from the very start, I had this idea of it being a bit like a clipboard. And it being kind of all in universe. And I think what confused the natural upshot of that is that when you give players a list of stuff they can click on, then they will almost always start at the top and move down the list.
Right.
And so we need to make, and I don't want the game to be reduced to that because then it's just sort of a shopping list of, it might as well be a radio play split up into 20 different audio files that you play one after the other.
Right.
So I want people to be able to think carefully about which questions they might ask next, bearing in mind the effect it might have on the subject, because otherwise it doesn't feel like a game so much as a sort of an interactive sort of dialogue spitter-outer thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the compliments. We're very happy to hear it. Yeah, we're going to be working hard on it in the coming months. Already got some good concepts for new characters. So keep an eye out for those. I think we will have to call time now. We have some obligations we have to attend to. But I just want to say again, thank you all so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. Sorry I didn't see that you were here earlier. I was on the wrong screen and just sucked into the story. But hopefully you had a good time. Parting
It's been
comments.
great. I imagine that most people who are here have already backed the Kickstarter just because I think we probably only get really diehard fans on these streams.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, then this is on Kickstarter. Surprise!
It is.
And we'd really love it if you could pledge something. And if you haven't already, then a retweet or a share, or I don't know, telling your uncle who likes sci-fi about it or something could be just fantabulous. So thank you.
Anything and everything is hugely appreciated.
Yeah.
Little studios need some help getting the word out. We don't have a marketing budget, like at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to head off. Keep your eyes peeled for upcoming dev streams. We're going to be doing the next one. What's on the plan for that one? Inspirations.
Yes, inspirations, cyberpunky stuff. Why I like Blade Runner, that sort of thing.
How politics are bonkers and how cyberpunk helps us talk about that.
Yeah,
it's a good topic. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Stuff. We'll be announcing on Twitter when you can find that dev stream. So again, thank you all so much. Have a great evening, morning, nighttime, wherever you are in the world.
Wherever you may be.
And we will see you next time.
Stay safe, stay sane. Bye-bye.
Bye.